I'm George Russell, and you're listening to Speed City.
Welcome back to the fastest hour in radio, Speed City.
So I've got Dan Towress with me, the head of TWG Motorsports, which basically, to everyone else listening, means the head of the Cadillac Formula 1 team that's coming in next year. Dan, thanks for being with us here in Miami. How excited are you to know that this time next year, you're going to be on this grid?
It's incredible to think about. I think we'll be a little busier next year and, probably a bit more nerves, but that's really why we wanted to come out and do the logo launch that we had last night, was to really kind of set the stage and start to show people what Cadillac Formula 1 is going to be about.
Yeah, I mean, it was a massive event you did downtown in South Beach. It was like full of so many people, glitzy party. Terry Crews hosting as well. Mark Royce was there. But was that the kind of line in the sand to say, hey, here's our identity. From here we move forward as a real Formula 1 team that people can invest in?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people have known Cadillac's coming, but, well, what does that mean? What is it going to look like? What is it going to feel like? A lot of work has gone into that. And so last night really was that, that launch, telling the whole world what that's going to look and feel like. I think some people wanted to see a driver announcement. Some people wanted to see a livery announcement. But it's like, hey, we're not going to send everything out on one day. There's a lot of build-up between now and Melbourne in 2026. And so, there's more to come. Hang on, the livery's coming. Drivers will be coming. Don't put me on the clock, but a lot of things are going to be happening there. But it was great just to kind of show the attitude, look and feel, what you can expect from Cadillac Formula 1, and to see all the GM brass, show up, TWG Global brass show up, the fans, influencers, media. It was just a great event. We were super excited.
Yeah, I think what fans can expect is you guys are going to make some noise when you come into Formula 1, which we are looking forward to big time. And obviously drivers you can wait on. Liveries makes sense when you've got an actual 2026 car to launch as well. But what is on the job list for you moving forward at this point? Because, as I say, like this time next year, you'll be very busy. I imagine you're flat out behind the scenes right now anyway.
Flat out behind the scenes. There's so many different work streams, from, building the car, onboarding, people onto the team. There's drivers, there's building out the commercial organization. There's a massive real estate project. We're going to have over 600,000 square feet of, Formula 1 facility under roof between the headquarters in Indianapolis and the power unit plant, that's going to be in the Charlotte area. And then what we're building out in Silverstone as well, which is in addition, to that 600,000 square feet. So, to be operating out of those three locations, is fabulous. And so there's just so much work going into everything that we're doing.
Well, it's not like you haven't been busy anyway with other motorsport projects, with IndyCar and NASCAR. You guys are really embedded everywhere in the motorsport world. But can I take you back 12 months? It's a bit of a personal question, but 12 months ago, I imagine the welcome was slightly different trying to come into a Grand Prix weekend. Like, how hard did it feel to finally get over the line?
Yeah, no, it was very difficult to get over the line. But I think from where we stand today, our project, our effort, the Cadillac Formula 1 team is better off, having gone through that. Formula 1, it shouldn't be easy. This is the pinnacle of motorsports. And believe me, they didn't make it easy. And I think for us, there were times, it was frustrating. It was like a moving goalpost. Like you would do the work, you got to a place, and then it was like, and here's another thing you need to do. And so, but we did it. We did it in spades. We got in. But I will say, now that we're in, we've been very welcomed by Formula 1. The support from the FIA, the welcome from the other teams has been fabulous. So, as we like to say, our work continues at pace, and we're getting ready for 2026.
Well, just while you do get ready, I'm sure North American fans don't need another reason to follow the team, but you are speaking to all of North America here right now, so why should fans here be so excited about the Cadillac project?
I think just, to see what a new team in Formula 1 can do. I think this is the time where it's really going to showcase American innovation, American ingenuity in the car with GM's involvement. When you think of what's happening in Detroit, what's going to be built there in Indianapolis, Charlotte, from that standpoint, this is a team fans can really get behind. Every single person I've talked to has a Cadillac story in some way. Their grandfather, their father, their mothers, their car. Somebody's, there's an attachment to the brand, and so they're like, I'm a fan of Formula 1. Now I'm a fan of Cadillac, Formula 1. We don't want to let those fans down, and so every effort is going in to exceed expectations and try to deliver. But make no mistake, Formula 1 is very difficult. We know that, and so we're going to be bringing all that we have to do the best that we can.
It's so impressive what you guys are building and the effort you're putting in. Is there also a show of faith in where you see the sport heading over here? Because we had the confirmation that we'll be in Miami till 2041 already, 3 races in the US. Do you feel that there's still a lot of growth in the future here in America?
I think there's massive growth for Formula 1 in the US. I think motorsports, as a whole is going up from that standpoint. It's becoming more mainstream. There are new fan bases, that are developing, just out of their interest in Formula 1 for a variety of reasons. the 3 races that are here are absolutely fabulous. And so to see Miami extended for, into 2041 is great. We love this race. Every year it gets better and better, bigger and bigger, and can't wait to see what the future holds.
Dan, thanks very much for your time.
All right, thanks, Chris.